Are you afraid of things that go bump in the night? Then perhaps you should stop right now because we're about to delve into the world of the supernatural. And these tales are not for the faint of heart. Whether you believe ghosts are real or not, just made up of the movies. These ghost stories are told by real people who experienced things they can't explain, if not proof that they have more than meets to eye when it comes to the spirit world. And some of those are just terrifying. On his way to get married, a military man is best mate set off an 800-mile road trip from Camp Lejeune in North Carolina to Lafayette in Indiana. It's 1 a.m. on a cold journey night in 2014, and the man tells Monster Among Us that the weather is bad and temperatures are in the negative double digits. As the pair close in on Indianapolis, they discover they have no money to pay for gas to refuel the car and about and run out. Growing up in the trucking industry with my dad, I decided to stop at a truck stop. The man explains, but because the main interstate were shut down due to the weather, they had to get off the highway and search for a truck stop along the back roads instead. We found a smaller truck stop. It had a one truck and it was just kind of strange. It was a blacked out truck with a blacked out trailer. There was no real markings on it. Nothing distinguishable, he says. They went in, hoping a clerk or waitress would spot them a few dollars for gas enough to make it in Indianapolis, at which time they would go to the bank, pay out cash and pay back the loan. Inside they found a TD dinner occupied by a waitress, cook and a lone truck driver. I went inside, talked to this driver, and he bought us a cup of coffee. We sat there and talked for about 30 minutes about what was going on and why we had it, where we were and what we were doing, and he gave us $20 for gas. I went outside, pumped our gas, came back in, and I told him, "Hey, I really appreciate it. I will be back." Making good on his word, the man got cash from the bank upon arriving in Indianapolis and returned to the dinner. When we arrived about 10 o'clock in the morning, it's boarded out. He says, "It looks like it's been abandoned for years. The truck is gone. But we had it just been in there." They pull in anyway and find a police officer parked into the lot. They explain what happened just hours before, to which the cop chuckles and replies, "Oh, you met the ghost of three." So two military members conversed, had a cup of coffee with, interacted with three people at a dinner that had a fuel pump. "I got $20 worth of gas," says the man. "When I came back, it had been boarded up for, if I remember correctly, the cop said it had been boarded up for the last 25 years. Jeff, a resident of Dayton, Ohio, was driving with his 3-year-old son, Miles, in the back seat when they passed by a cemetery. It was a modest cemetery with only flowers and small plaques. It basically looked like a giant garden, Jeff explains on Monster Among Us. According to Jeff, as they drove by, his daughter, who had been happily singing, abruptly stopped, pointed to the cemetery and exclaimed, "Look at all those peoples." Jeff turned to look but didn't see a soul, just confused. He asked Miles what he was talking about. "All those people over there," his son replied. "There is sure a lot of grandmas." Chills ran down his spine as he asked his son what the people are doing. "They are all standing there, looking down at the grass," Miles said. Completely unsettled by the conversation, Jeff sped up and drove home. Later that same day, he says his young son was watching TV when he turned to Jeff and said, "You know, they weren't alive." Thinking Miles was referring to the cartoon, Jeff asked what he meant. "These people we saw, they were all paused," his son replied. "I don't know if my kid just has sixth sense," Jeff says, "or he just has a wild imagination." The Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, has been around for then 100 years and was built as a post gateway for the wealthy seeking solitude in the mountains. As the years passed, however, occupancy declined, and by the 1970s, the Grand Hotel had fallen into disrepair. It was around that time that famed author Stephen King spent the night there and was inspired to write the book The Shining. The book and blockbuster film helped return the Stanley to its former glory. Now, guests come in droves to see the hotel that inspired one of the scariest horror movies of all time. Given its history, it should come as no surprise that many visitors report strange happenings. Aware of ghostly rumors, Texas resident Henry, you booked a last-minute getaway in April of 2016 to check it out. After arriving, Jua had dinner. Then he wandered around the Stanley to take photos, stopping at the staircase. He waited for people to clear the area, then took a picture, thinking nothing of it. Later the night. However, Jua felt seriously ill. I felt really sick. I had the shivers. I was like something's really wrong. He tells Today.com his companion suggested to go to the emergency room, but Jua refused. On the trip home, Jua began sweeping through the photos he had taken when he discovered what he said was a really strange image of something standing on the stairs, except no one had been there. The next day, he posted the photo on Instagram of joking that he had captured a ghost, and the world took notice almost overnight. Jua found himself in the limelight, with his ghost picture warranting attention from global media outlets and paranormal experts who wanted to examine the photo. Some experts says that there are two ghosts, and other people said that the reason I got sick is because the ghost was trying to materialize, taking energy of it. He said there is no many theories about this. And what does you think? I have no idea, he says with a laugh.